Hey everybody, welcome to Rants by Michaela. So, if you are a friend of mine on Facebook, you have seen over the past few days, my newsfeed and my stories have just been flooded with TikToks about what's going on in Ukraine right now. And I must say, in this hypersensitive cancel culture that we live in the US in the 21st century, it is such a breath of fresh air to see badasses like the president of Ukraine and his wife take up arms ready to defend their country. It is tremendous. It's incredible. It is such a breath of fresh air. I love it. And this is one of the reasons why I have always been attracted to Russian and Ukrainian men, because the balls are just huge. But does anybody else take into consideration that if Trump had won the 2020 election, knowing that he was so far in bed with Putin, that the United States military would be in Ukraine helping out Russia right now? Does anybody take that into consideration? Does anyone take into consideration that Trump would have abused his position as commander-in-chief to ally himself with Putin and use our militaries to aid Putin in the invasion of Ukraine? How does it feel to be such a loud spoken Trump supporter who constantly talked about how you didn't want to have anything to do with communist Russia or communist China, how America was the greatest country in the world and what made it so great was its capitalism and its freedom, and how we didn't have to be ruled by a dictator, not like Russia has to be ruled by Putin. And now in hindsight always being 2020, when we look at just how far in bed Trump was with Putin, our militaries could have potentially been aiding Russia's military right now in the invasion of Ukraine. Like, how stupid must you feel right now? Or are you capable of ignoring it just like you're capable of ignoring so many other things that are going on in the United States? Remember, the last time I created a post, I talked about how a lot of white Republicans do not understand what Black Lives Matter means, because they're conditioned at a young age to swallow bullshit. So they don't realize that they're looking at racism. They don't realize that they're looking at racism when you're dealing with white officers killing Black individuals. Some of them do recognize that they're dealing with racism and they don't care because they are racist themselves. Some of them followed Trump because of his racism, because he wasn't quiet or discreet about it. Calling Black people sons of bitches, African countries shithole countries, creating a travel ban on predominantly Muslim countries, which predominantly Muslim countries are located in Northern Africa or the Middle East. Africans are being given a derogatory name to insult us. We call it the N-word now. But Middle Easterns have also been given a derogatory insulting name. It's called sand N-word. So he was showing how racist he was towards Africans and Middle Easterns. He called the coronavirus the China virus because he was being racist towards not just Chinese, but he was also being racist towards other Asians, which created a lot of violence geared towards Asians here within the United States caused by Trump supporters. He caged children of Latin American descent who were brought here before they even understood what nationality was. These kids don't understand the concept of borders, nations, nationality, immigration, and they don't even know how to read and write, much less fill out an application for a visa to come into the United States. And he caged those children while saying that people from Latin American countries were drug dealers and rapists, while he was being investigated for being a pedophile who associated himself with other pedophiles. And now these other pedophiles who are getting ready to come out and testify against all the elitists who are members of the good old boys club are ending up dead as soon as they get arrested and put in jail, because even though we all know the truth, they don't want these people to be able to testify against them. I mean, Trump was not discreet at all about what a dangerous animal he is. And the United States government spent millions of dollars lots of time, effort, and energy to find out just how far in bed he was with Putin, to the point where we ended up finding out that he gave Putin the names of undercover agents working within the Russian government who worked for the U.S. military so that Putin could have them killed. How does it feel to know that at the end of the day, the reason why Putin was stroking Trump's ego to get Trump to want to work with him was so that he would have been able to manipulate Trump to abuse his power as commander-in-chief to get the United States military to ally itself with the Russian military to assist in Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And now, regardless of what you think about Biden, thank goodness he's the one who's in office right now and instead is saying we will fight against Russia as well as our allied nations like the UK. Like, we stay ready to go to war. And that's why you wanted to use Trump as your puppet and utilize the United States military. You know we stay ready to go to war. You just didn't know that by the time you were ready to invade Ukraine, Trump wouldn't be in office anymore. And he would have outlasted his usefulness. I am very proud to say that I am not a Trump supporter. But how many of you out there are still going to be screaming Trump's name after this? Anyway, that's my rant.